Captain Lisa Martinez stood at the viewport of Lunar Defense Station Alpha, her eyes fixed on the distant sparkle of the Valthrian blockade ships. 20 years had passed since humans first met aliens, and things had gone very wrong. She remembered the day well. Humanity celebrated what seemed like the beginning of a new age. Now those same aliens threatened to wipe out everyone she knew and loved. "Captain, incoming transmission from Earth Command," said the young officer at the communications station. Lisa nodded. "Put it through." The stern face of Admiral Peter Johnson appeared on screen. The lines around his eyes had deepened in recent months as the situation with the Valthrians worsened. "Martinez, I need you back on Earth immediately. Special transport. He's already on the way. Top secret." "Sir, my station is on high alert. The Valthrians just destroyed Outpost 7 yesterday," Lisa protested. "This takes priority. Earth Command out." The screen went black. 12 hours later, Lisa's transport shuttle descended through the red dust storms of Mars. She had expected to be taken to Earth, not Mars. Something wasn't adding up. The shuttle landed in what appeared to be empty desert, but then the ground beneath them began to move. They were lowering into a massive underground facility. "Welcome to Project Nemesis, Captain," said a gray-haired man waiting for her as she exited the shuttle. "I'm Dr. Samuel Wright." Lisa shook his hand. "I was told to report to Earth Command." "Earth Command doesn't officially know we exist," he replied with a small smile. "Follow me." They walked through a series of security checkpoints, each more strict than the last. Finally, they entered an enormous cavern hollowed out of the Martian bedrock. Lisa stopped in her tracks, her mouth falling open. Before her floated a ship unlike anything humans had built before. It was sleek and black, about twice the size of Earth's largest battleship. Its hull seemed to swallow the light around it, making it hard to focus on its exact shape. "What am I looking at?" she asked. "Humanity's last hope," Dr. Wright answered. "The UES Nemesis." He led her to a conference room overlooking the hangar. 5 people sat around a table, all looking tired but alert. Dr. Wright made quick introductions. "Jack Daniels, your first officer. Olivia Grant, chief engineer. Miguel Rodriguez, security chief. And Alan Murphy, communications specialist." Lisa took a seat. "Can someone tell me why I'm here?" Dr. Wright pressed a button and a hologram appeared above the table. Earth surrounded by the red dots of Valthrian ships. 3 days ago, the Valthrian High Command sent their final ultimatum. We either submit to their authority and allow them to rehabilitate our species, or they will eliminate us entirely. They believe our history of war makes us too dangerous to join the galactic community. "We've been trying to negotiate for years," Lisa said. "Their minds are made up." "Exactly," Wright continued. "Which is why, 15 years ago, a small group within the government started this project. When the Valthrian scout ship crashed near Europa in 2045, we recovered technology that we've been studying and reverse engineering ever since." Olivia Grant spoke up, her voice excited despite the grim situation. "We've made breakthroughs they never expected humans to achieve. The Nemesis isn't just a warship. It's a statement." "A statement?" Lisa asked. "That humans shouldn't be underestimated," Jack Daniels said. His eyes were hard. "The Valthrians killed my wife and daughter when they destroyed the Armstrong colony last year. They think we're savages. I'll show them savage." Dr. Wright handed Lisa a tablet. "The Nemesis has systems that the Valthrians don't know we understand. Its hull can absorb energy weapons and redirect that power. Its engines use quantum displacement, making it nearly impossible to track. And its main weapon, which we call Thanatos, targets the specific energy frequency that Valthrian ships use for their main systems." Lisa scrolled through the specs, her eyes widening. "This is beyond anything we've developed before. Has it been tested?" An uncomfortable silence fell over the room. "That's where you come in," Wright finally said. "The ship is ready, but we need a captain. Someone with combat experience who also understands the importance of restraint. Your record in the Jupiter conflict showed both qualities. You want me to captain an untested ship against the most powerful alien fleet in our sector of the galaxy?" Lisa clarified. Miguel Rodriguez, a man with the hard look of someone who had seen too much combat, leaned forward. The Valthrians are already dismantling our outer defenses. Mars is next, then Earth. We're out of options, Captain. Alan Murphy, younger than the others, pushed his glasses up his nose. There's something else you should know. We have reason to believe there are factions within Valthrian society that oppose this war. If we can break through the blockade, we might find allies. Lisa looked back at the massive ship floating in the hangar. It represented everything humans could accomplish when pushed to the edge. Brilliant, terrifying, and possibly their only hope. When do we launch? She asked. You have 48 hours to familiarize yourself with the ship and prepare your crew, Wright said. The Valthrians don't know about this facility yet, but they will soon. They've increased scans of Mars in the past week. As if on cue, alarms began to blare. A voice came over the intercom. Unidentified energy signature detected in orbit. Valthrian. Configuration. Everyone rushed to the viewport. In the hangar, technicians were scrambling around the Nemesis, disconnecting fuel lines and power cables. They've found us, Olivia said, her face pale. Lisa felt the weight of responsibility settle on her shoulders. This wasn't how she imagined taking command of a new vessel, but there was no time for ceremony now. Dr. Wright, how soon can the Nemesis be ready to fly, she asked. 24 hours minimum, he replied. You have 6, Lisa decided. First Officer Daniels, begin crew selection immediately. Anyone not essential to operating this ship needs to evacuate. Engineer Grant, I need all systems functional, even if they're not perfect. Rodriguez, Murphy, prepare a briefing on Valthrian tactics and communication protocols. And you, Captain? Wright asked. Lisa looked at the Nemesis again, its dark hull, promising either salvation or doom for humanity. I'm going to learn everything there is to know about this ship, she said, because in 6 hours we're taking the fight to the Valthrians. As the team dispersed to their tasks, Lisa remained at the viewport alone. The Nemesis waited below, humanity's most advanced creation. She wondered if it would be enough to save them, or if she was about to command the last mission humans would ever undertake. Either way, the Valthrians were about to learn that humans didn't surrender easily. The 6 hours passed in a blur of activity. Captain Lisa Martinez memorized every detail about the Nemesis that Dr. Wright could share. The midnight black ship was unlike anything humans had built before. Its systems were complex but elegant, combining stolen Valthrian technology with human innovation. It's time, Jack Daniels said, entering the command center where Lisa studied the ship schematics. The Valthrians have deployed 3 scout ships. They'll be within scanning range of our facility in 20 minutes. Lisa nodded and stood up. Is the crew ready? As ready as they can be. Most have never served together before. They walked quickly through the underground base toward the ship's main airlock. Workers rushed in all directions, carrying equipment and evacuating non-essential personnel. The tension in the air was thick enough to cut with a knife. Olivia Grant met them at the entrance to the Nemesis, her hands dirty with engine grease. Captain, we've got the main systems online, but the weapon system is still unstable. I can't guarantee it won't overload if we use it. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it, Lisa replied. Can we fly? Yes, ma'am, the quantum displacement drive is operational. Then let's get moving. The inside of the Nemesis was spacious compared to standard Earth ships. The corridors were wider, the ceilings higher. Everything was built with function over form, giving the interior a stark utilitarian appearance. The walls seemed to absorb sound, creating an eerie silence broken only by the soft hum of machinery. Lisa followed Jack to the bridge, where crew members were settling into their stations. The command chair waited in the center, facing a large view screen currently showing the hangar outside. Miguel Rodriguez stood by the tactical station, running diagnostics on the ship's defensive systems. Status report, Lisa called out as she took her seat. Engineering reports ready, a young officer announced. Life support at full capacity, weapon systems at 87% and rising. Communications online, Alan Murphy said from his station. I'm monitoring Valthrian channels. They know something's happening on Mars, but they don't know what yet. An alarm sounded throughout the base. Dr. Wright's voice came over the intercom. Valthrian scouts have increased speed. They'll be here in 12 minutes. Captain Martinez, you need to launch now. Lisa took a deep breath. This wasn't how she'd imagined her first command of a major vessel. There had been no time for proper preparation, no time for the crew to train together, but there was also no time left to wait. Seal all airlocks, she ordered. Prepare for emergency launch. The crew moved with professional efficiency despite the rushed circumstances. Status lights turned green across the control panels as the ship prepared to leave its birthplace. Captain, Jack said quietly from beside her, the hangar doors will take 3 minutes to fully open. The Valthrians will detect us the moment they start moving. Then we'll have to be quick, Lisa replied. She opened a channel to the base. Dr. Wright, begin opening the hangar doors. We're launching immediately. The massive doors above the ship began to slide apart, revealing the red Martian sky. Dust swirled into the hangar, coating everything in a fine, rusty powder. Engine power at 100%, Olivia reported from engineering. Ready when you are, Captain? Lisa gripped the arms of her command chair. Take us up, nice and easy. The Nemesis hummed as its engines powered up. The ship lifted slowly from its cradle, hovering in the center of the hangar. As the doors finished opening, Lisa could see the pink-orange sky of Mars above them. We have movement, Miguel called. Out. 3 Valthrian scouts changing course, heading directly for our position. Time to intercept? 8 minutes at their current speed. Lisa leaned forward. Let's not be here when they arrive. Mr. Daniels, take us out of the atmosphere. Full power. The Nemesis shot upward, its advanced engines accelerating the massive ship with surprising speed. The bridge crew was pressed back into their seats as the vessel climbed rapidly through the thin Martian atmosphere. Valthrians have spotted us, Alan reported, listening to intercepted communications. They're calling for reinforcements. How long until we clear Mars orbit? Lisa asked. 90 seconds, Jack replied. Lisa turned to Miguel. Once we clear orbit, I want to see what this ship can really do. Target the lead Valthrian scout with a warning shot only. Let's test our weapons. The red planet fell away beneath them as the Nemesis broke free of Mars's gravity. The stars appeared, cold and distant in the blackness of space. On the view screen, 3 small Valthrian ships grew larger as they approached. We've cleared orbit, Jack announced. Weapons range in 30 seconds. Lisa stood up and walked to the tactical station. Show me what the Thanatos system can do, Mr. Rodriguez. Miguel's fingers danced across the controls. Target locked. Charging main weapon. The lights on the bridge dimmed slightly as power was diverted to the weapon systems. A low hum built throughout the ship, vibrating through the deck plates. Energy. Build up stable, Olivia reported from engineering. But I'm seeing power fluctuations in the secondary systems. 10 seconds to firing range, Miguel said. The Valthrian scouts began to spread out, moving into an attack formation. They were small but fast, designed for reconnaissance rather than combat. Still, they represented the first test for the Nemesis. Fire, Lisa ordered. A brilliant blue-white beam lanced out from the Nemesis, narrowly missing the lead Valthrian ship. The energy discharge lit up space like a newborn star. The effect on the Valthrians was immediate. The scouts broke formation, scattering in different directions. Their movements became erratic, panicked. Alan listened intently to his earpiece. Captain, they're transmitting emergency signals. Wait, they're retreating. The bridge crew watched in amazement as the Valthrian scouts turned and accelerated away from Mars, their engines glowing bright as they pushed to maximum speed. Jack looked up at Lisa with surprise. They ran from a warning shot? That's not like Valthrian military protocol. It's not what they expected, Lisa said, studying the retreating ships on the screen. They came looking for humans hiding in a hole. Instead, they found something that could fight back. Olivia's voice came over the comm. Captain, you should see this. The ship's hull recorded the weapon discharge. The energy signature is, well, it's not like anything in our databases, or the Valthrian databases we've accessed. Lisa returned to her chair. So we've surprised ourselves as well as the enemy. Good. We need every advantage we can get. She turned to Jack. Set course for the edge of the solar system. We need to break through the blockade. As the Nemesis moved away from Mars, Lisa watched the red planet shrink on the view screen. Somewhere down there, Dr. Wright and his team were evacuating, hoping the ship they built would save humanity. The real test is still ahead of us, she said quietly. But we're off to a good start. The Nemesis glided silently through the darkness of space. Captain Lisa Martinez studied the tactical display showing their position relative to the Valthrian blockade. They had been traveling for 6 hours since leaving Mars, and now approached the outer edges of the solar system. Neptune coming up on our starboard side, Jack Daniels announced from the helm. The planet's rings will provide some cover if we need it. Lisa nodded. Take us in closer to the rings. I want options if we run into trouble. The massive blue planet grew larger on the view screen as they approached. Its swirling storms and wide rings created a beautiful but alien landscape. Under different circumstances, Lisa might have appreciated the view more. Alan Murphy turned from his communications station. Captain, I'm picking up heavy Valthrian communications traffic ahead. They're searching for us. Those scouts must have reported back, Miguel Rodriguez said from Tactical. They know we're coming. Lisa considered their options. Breaking through the blockade wouldn't be easy. The Valthrians had dozens of ships patrolling the outer solar system, preventing Earth vessels from leaving and outside help from arriving. Mr. Murphy, can you identify any patterns in their patrol routes? She asked. Alan typed rapidly at his console. Yes, Captain. There appears to be a gap in their coverage near Neptune's trailing orbit position. It's small, but it might be enough for us to slip through. That's our target then, Lisa decided. She opened a channel to engineering. Ms. Grant, how are our systems holding up? Olivia's voice came through with a hint of excitement. Better than expected, Captain. I've been studying the power readings from our earlier weapons test. The hull actually absorbed some of the energy feedback and redistributed it to other systems. It wasn't designed to do that, at least not that we knew of. Lisa raised an eyebrow. You're saying the ship is adapting? In a way, yes. It's as if the systems are learning from each use. That was both promising and concerning. A ship that could evolve its capabilities might give them an edge, but unpredictability could be dangerous. Keep monitoring it, Lisa ordered. I want to know immediately if anything unusual happens. As they rounded Neptune's curve, the sensors beeped in warning. Valthrian patrol ship detected, Miguel announced. Heavy cruiser class. They haven't spotted us yet. Lisa leaned forward in her chair. Hold position. Let them pass. The bridge crew watched tensely as the Valthrian ship moved across their view screen. It was elegant and powerful, with graceful curves that belied its deadly purpose. The alien vessel continued on its patrol route, apparently unaware of the human ship hiding in Neptune's shadow. They're moving out of sensor range, Miguel reported after a tense minute. We're clear. Lisa pointed to a spot on the tactical display. That cruiser is guarding our exit point. We'll need to deal with it if we want to break through the blockade. Jack turned to face her. Deal with it how? We barely know what our weapons can do. We're about to find out, Lisa replied. Set an intercept course, but keep us within retreat range of Neptune's rings. If things go wrong, we'll need cover. The Nemesis moved silently toward the Valthrian cruiser. As they closed the distance, Lisa could see the alien ship more clearly. It was 3 times their size, bristling with weapons emplacements and sensor arrays. They've spotted us, Alan said suddenly. They're transmitting an identification request. No response, Lisa ordered. Battle stations. Red alert lights bathed the bridge in a crimson glow as crew members prepared for combat. This would be the Nemesis's first real test against a Valthrian warship. Weapons range in 30 seconds, Miguel reported. Lisa stood and addressed the bridge crew. The Valthrians have kept us prisoners in our own solar system for too long. Today we show them that humans won't go quietly. Target their engines and weapon systems. Disable, don't destroy. The Valthrian cruiser turned to face them, its weapons powering up. The alien ship fired first, purple energy beams lancing through space toward the Nemesis. Evasive maneuvers, Lisa commanded. Jack's hands flew across the controls, and the Nemesis responded with incredible agility. The ship twisted and rolled, avoiding most of the Valthrian fire. One beam glanced off their hull, but instead of damage alerts, Lisa heard excited chatter from engineering. "Captain, the hull absorbed the energy," Olivia called over the comm. "Power levels are rising across all systems." Lisa smiled. "Mr. Rodriguez, target their main weapon array. Let's return the favor." The Nemesis's main weapon powered up, drawing energy from throughout the ship. The lights dimmed again as power was redirected to the Thanatos system. "Firing," Miguel announced. The blue-white beam shot out from the Nemesis, striking the Valthrian cruiser squarely on its main weapon array. The effect was immediate and dramatic. Energy cascaded across the alien vessel's hull, shorting out systems and creating small explosions along its length. "Direct hit," Miguel reported. "Their weapons are offline." "Their engines are failing too," Jack added. "Whatever our weapon did, it affected their whole power grid." Alan bent over his console, listening intently. "Captain, they're broadcasting a distress signal. Wait, there's something else. I'm picking up transmissions from all over the blockade. The Valthrians are sharing sensor readings of our ship." "What are they saying?" Lisa asked. Alan's face showed confusion. "They're calling us the Dark Vessel. There's a word I don't recognize. Sounds like they're referring to some kind of prophecy or legend." Before Lisa could ask more questions, the sensors blared warning again. "Multiple Valthrian ships changing course," Miguel called out. "They're converging on our position." "How many?" Lisa asked. 7. No, 12 ships, including what appears to be their command vessel. Jack looked back at Lisa. "Captain, we can't fight that many at once, not yet." Lisa studied the tactical display. The gap in the blockade was still there, but they'd need to move quickly before it closed. "Set course for the gap. Maximum speed," she ordered. The Nemesis turned away from the damaged cruiser and accelerated toward their escape route. On the screens, they could see Valthrian ships rushing to intercept them. "They'll cut us off before we reach the gap," Jack warned. Lisa's mind raced through possibilities. Then she remembered what Olivia had said about the hull absorbing energy. "Mr. Rodriguez, divert all power to forward shields," she ordered. "Ms. Grant, prepare the hull to absorb as much energy as possible. We're going to let them hit us." The crew looked at her in shock, but followed orders. The Nemesis continued its course directly toward the oncoming Valthrian ships. "All hands, brace for impact," Lisa called over the ship-wide comm. The lead Valthrian vessel fired, its energy weapons striking the Nemesis head-on. The ship shuddered, but the hull glowed with absorbed power, pulsing with strange patterns like neural pathways lighting up across its surface. "Power levels spiking," Olivia shouted. "The hull is channeling the energy to the engines." The Nemesis suddenly surged forward with impossible speed, shooting past the surprised Valthrian ships and toward the gap in the blockade. "We're through," Jack exclaimed as they passed the last blockade ship. Lisa watched as the stars streaked, by the Nemesis now moving faster than any human ship had ever traveled before. "Set course for the coordinates Mr. Murphy found in the Valthrian communications," she said quietly. "Let's find these resistance fighters." Behind them, the Valthrian blockade had fallen into disarray, their neat formation broken as ships scrambled to pursue the mysterious vessel that had done the impossible. The Nemesis traveled through space for 3 days, moving deeper into territory controlled by the Valthrians. Captain Lisa Martinez had ordered the ship to run silent, using minimum power to avoid detection. The crew worked in shifts, resting when they could but always remaining alert for danger. Lisa sat in her quarters reviewing the data they had gathered during their escape from the solar system. The ship's unusual behavior continued to surprise her. According to Olivia's reports, the Nemesis was becoming more efficient with each passing hour, its systems working together in ways that the designers had never intended. A knock at her door pulled her from her thoughts. "Enter," she called. Security Chief Miguel Rodriguez stepped into the room. He looked tired but determined. "Captain, I need to speak with you," he said. "It's about the Valthrian resistance." Lisa gestured to the chair across from her. "Sit down. What have you found?" Miguel seemed uncomfortable. It's not what I found. It's what I already knew. He took a deep breath. I haven't been completely honest with you or the crew. I've been in contact with the Valthrian resistance for the past 3 years. Lisa's eyes narrowed. Explain. I was stationed on Europa when we recovered that crashed scout ship, Miguel said. The pilot survived briefly. Before he died, he gave me a communication device and coordinates. He said there were many Valthrians who disagreed with the policy toward humans. They believe we should be allies, not enemies. And you kept this secret? Lisa asked, her voice hard. I had to. Earth governments were divided on how to respond to the Valthrian threat. Some wanted to surrender, others wanted to fight. If word got out about potential Valthrian allies, it could have led to chaos. Lisa stood and paced the small room. Does Dr. Wright know? Miguel nodded. He's one of the few who does. The Nemesis wasn't just built to fight the Valthrians. It was designed to impress them, to show that humans could be valuable allies. Before Lisa could respond, the ship's alert system activated. Jack Daniels's voice came over the comm. Captain to the bridge. We've detected a large Valthrian vessel approaching our position. Lisa gave Miguel a hard look. We'll finish this conversation later. For now, keep this between us. They rushed to the bridge, where the crew was already at battle stations. On the main view screen, a massive Valthrian ship approached. It dwarfed the Nemesis, its elegant design emphasizing its power and advanced technology. Identification? Lisa asked as she took her seat. It's the Subjugator, Alan Murphy reported from Communications. The flagship of the Valthrian fleet. It's commanded by Supreme Executor Zalthir himself. How did they find us? Jack asked. Miguel glanced at Lisa, but said nothing. Options? Lisa asked, looking around the bridge. We can't outrun it, Jack said. Not without using full power, which would reveal our position to every Valthrian ship in the sector. And we can't hide, Miguel added. They're already tracking us. Lisa made her decision. Battle stations. Prepare the Thanatos system. The bridge crew moved with practiced efficiency. In the days since leaving Earth, they had become a tight-knit team, each person understanding their role. The Subjugator is, hailing us, Alan announced. On screen, Lisa ordered. The view screen changed to show the bridge of the Valthrian ship. Standing in the center was a tall, elegant alien with pale blue skin and large dark eyes. Supreme Executor Zalthir wore ornate armor that signified his high rank. Human vessel, he said, his translator converting his words to English. I am Supreme Executor Zalthir of the Valthrian Dominion. You have violated the terms of containment placed upon your species. Surrender your vessel or be destroyed. Lisa stood, facing the alien commander with confidence she didn't entirely feel. This is Captain Lisa Martinez of the UES Nemesis. We will not surrender. Your blockade of Earth is an act of aggression against a peaceful species. We demand the right to free passage through space. Zalthir's expression was hard to read, but he seemed almost amused. Peaceful? Your history is written in the blood of your own kind. You would bring that violence to the stars if allowed? We've changed, Lisa argued. Humanity has grown beyond its violent past. Yet you approach in a warship, Zalthir countered. A ship we built only because you threatened our existence, Lisa said. The Valthrian commander studied her for a moment. A curious vessel you have constructed. Our sensors cannot fully analyze its composition or capabilities, but it cannot stand against the might of the Subjugator. The communication ended abruptly. They're charging weapons, Miguel reported. Lisa turned to Olivia. Status of our systems? All operational, the engineer replied. But the Thanatos system is still unstable. Using it against a ship that size could overload our power grid. Lisa faced a difficult choice. They couldn't run. They couldn't hide. Their only option was to fight, but using their main weapon might destroy them along with their enemy. Evasive maneuvers, she ordered. Charge the Thanatos system, but hold fire. The nemesis moved with surprising grace as Jack guided it away from the subjugator's first attack. Energy beams passed close by but didn't connect. "They're firing again," Miguel warned. This time one of the beams struck the nemesis directly. The ship shuddered, but instead of damage, the hull began to glow with absorbed energy. "Power levels rising," Olivia reported. "The hull is channeling the energy throughout the ship just like before." Lisa watched in amazement as patterns of light spread across the ship's external cameras. The hull was glowing with intricate designs that resembled neural pathways or circuit boards. Alan suddenly turned from his station. "Captain, I'm detecting a hidden signal embedded in the Valthrian communication. It's a message from the Resistance." "What does it say?" Lisa asked. "They're telling us to activate our main weapon but not to fire. They say to let the vessel reveal itself." Lisa glanced at Miguel, who nodded slightly. "Olivia, fully. Power up the Thanatos system but don't discharge it," Lisa ordered. "Let's see what happens." The ship hummed as power flowed into the weapon system. The glowing patterns on the hull intensified, spreading until the entire nemesis shimmered with blue-white energy. In space, the ship no longer looked like a vessel, but like a living entity of pure energy. On the view screen, they could see the subjugator had stopped firing. The massive alien ship hung motionless in space. "They're hailing us again," Alan said in surprise. The view screen activated, showing Zalthir's face. The Valthrian commander's expression had changed dramatically. His eyes were wide, his posture no longer confident but almost reverential. "The darkness vessel," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. "The prophecy speaks true." "What prophecy?" Lisa asked. Zalthir bowed his head. "Request permission to come aboard your vessel, Captain Martinez. There is much we need to discuss." The bridge crew looked at Lisa in shock. The most powerful Valthrian commander was asking to board their ship, not as a conqueror, but as a supplicant. "I think," Miguel said quietly, "our ship just became a lot more important than any of us realized." The atmosphere on the Nemesis was tense as they prepared to receive Supreme Executor Zalthir. Captain Lisa Martinez had ordered the highest security protocols. Miguel Rodriguez and 6 armed security officers waited in the docking bay as the Baple Valthrian shuttle approached. "I still think this could be a trap," Jack Daniels said as he stood beside Lisa outside the airlock. "Maybe," Lisa admitted. "But something about this feels different. Did you see his face when he recognized our ship? That wasn't fear or anger. It was awe." The airlock hissed open. Supreme Executor Zalthir ducked to enter the human ship. Up close, he was even more imposing, nearly 7 feet tall with shoulders, twice as broad as a human's. His pale blue skin had faint markings that seemed to shift with the light. He was accompanied by 2 Valthrian guards who looked uncomfortable in the human vessel. "Welcome aboard the Nemesis," Lisa said formally. Zalthir placed his 4-fingered hand over his chest in what appeared to be a sign of respect. "The honor is mine, Captain Martinez. I never expected to witness this moment." Lisa led him to the conference room where Olivia Grant and Alan Murphy waited. The Valthrian guards remained outside with most of the security team. Only Miguel entered with them, his hand never far from his weapon. "Now," Lisa said once they were seated, "explain what you meant by the prophecy speaks true." Zalthir's large eyes studied each human face before he spoke. "Long before Valthrians traveled among the stars, our ancient texts spoke of a vessel that would appear at a critical moment in our history, a ship that would absorb light and energy, becoming something beyond mere technology. The texts called it the darkness vessel, not because it was evil but because it represented the unknown, the next step in evolution." "And you believe the Nemesis is this vessel?" Olivia asked skeptically. "I know it is," Zalthir replied. "The patterns your hull displayed when absorbing energy match exactly the descriptions in our most sacred texts. Texts written over 10,000 years ago." Alan leaned forward. "That's impossible. This ship was designed by humans using technology we partly reverse-engineered from you." "Perhaps that was part of the pattern that needed to unfold," Zalthir said. Our texts speak of a young species that would either bring destruction or salvation to the galaxy. This species would create the vessel as their greatest achievement. Lisa exchanged glances with her officers. So what does this mean for Earth? For the blockade? The blockade is already being lifted, Zalthir announced. I sent orders the moment I recognized your ship for what it truly is. The humans sat in stunned silence. Just like that? Jack asked. After years of conflict, you're giving up because our ship looks like something from your ancient stories? Zalthir's expression was solemn. You misunderstand. We never wanted conflict with humanity. The Valthrian High Council was divided on how to approach your species. Your violent history concerned many of our leaders. Some, like myself, advocated for careful observation. Others pushed for immediate containment or even elimination. And now, Lisa pressed, now the prophecy has been fulfilled. It speaks of two possible outcomes. If humanity chooses revenge for our actions, all civilizations will fall into darkness. If humanity chooses peace, a new golden age will follow. Miguel finally spoke up. The resistance faction within your society. They believed in this prophecy all along, didn't they? Zalthir nodded. They did. They saw potential in humanity that others were blind to. Lisa stood and walked to the viewport, looking out at the stars and the massive Valthrian ship floating nearby. So what happens now? That, Zalthir said quietly, depends on what you choose, Captain. Lisa turned to face him. I need to consult with Earth leadership. Of course. But be aware, the changes to your ship are only beginning. According to the texts, the vessel will continue to evolve beyond its original design. As if on cue, Olivia's tablet beeped with an alert. She studied it with widening eyes. Captain, you need to see this. The ship's systems are integrating with something from the subjugator. It's like they're talking to each other. Is it dangerous? Lisa asked. No, it's like they're exchanging information, upgrades, improvements. Zalthir nodded. The beginning of integration, another sign from the prophecy. Lisa made her decision. Mr. Murphy, open a channel to Earth Command. Let them know the blockade is lifting and we're beginning peace negotiations. She turned to Zalthir. Supreme Executor, I accept your offer of peace, but I'll need you to come to Earth to meet with our leaders in person. I would be honored, the Valthrian leader replied. 2 weeks later, Lisa stood on the observation deck of the Nemesis as they approached Earth. The blue-green planet grew larger on the view screen, looking peaceful and precious after everything they had been through. The Valthrian blockade ships were now serving as escorts, forming an honor guard as the Nemesis led the subjugator toward Earth. News of what had happened had spread throughout the solar system. People were celebrating in the streets, hardly believing their long isolation was ending. Jack joined her at the viewport. Not bad for your first command, he said with a smile. Lisa shook her head. Pure luck, no one could have predicted any of this. Maybe not, Jack agreed. But you handled it perfectly. Earth is free, we have new allies, and apparently a golden age is coming. If we make the right choices, Lisa reminded him. Olivia's voice came over the comm. Captain, you might want to see this. The ship's hull is changing again. On the external cameras, they could see the Nemesis's black surface rippling, like water. The once smooth hull now displayed intricate patterns that glowed with soft blue light. It looked less like a warship now, and more like a vessel of peace and discovery. Dr. Wright's team says the ship's systems have evolved beyond anything they designed, Olivia continued. It's integrating Valthrian technology with human innovation to create something entirely new. A message from Earth Command appeared on Lisa's tablet. It was brief, but meaningful. Captain Martinez, the United Earth Council requests you continue as commander of the Nemesis for its next mission, to represent humanity as we join the wider galactic community. Lisa smiled as Earth grew larger in the viewport. The ship that had been built for war had become an instrument of peace. The weapon that was meant to save humanity through destruction had saved it through inspiration instead. As they entered, Earth orbit, the Nemesis's systems hummed with energy. The ship that had terrified their enemies now offered hope to friends. What had begun as humanity's last defense had become its greatest diplomatic achievement. Alan Murphy turned from his station with a grin. Earth is hailing us, Captain. They're asking where we plan to go next. Lisa looked at her crew, humans who had expected to fight a desperate battle but instead had helped forge peace. She thought about all the worlds they might visit, all the civilizations they might meet. Tell them we're going everywhere, she replied. We have a lot of catching up to do.